Usman has responded to Joaquin Buckley's call-out. Did you guys catch this? This is interesting stuff. Usman swatted it away. Usman, in fact, used the line, "Get in line." Usman went on to say that he's getting called out by all sorts of guys. Stated his own ranking, which is he's 1, 2, or 3 himself. Said, hey, I don't know what Buckley's going to be, but he's probably going to be around 10. I've been called out by guys that are a little closer to the top. You know, I got to get in and deal with them before I get down to you. All right, good. Well, timeout. Is that right? I have never heard, ever. I've never heard Kamaru Usman get called out. I've heard guys say his name that they're in passing. Somebody else brings them up. You know, Rakhmonov had said his name, for example, where people are saying, hey, you know, it's either you or Usman's going to get the title shot. And so now here he is. Here's the name presented. So Rakhmonov did make mention. I don't know anybody that's calling him out. Am I missing that? I would find that interesting. I would actually, I would admire. I would appreciate if somebody called him out. That's a tough call out right there. Calling out the number one, the GOAT. So let's look at that division though, because turning that fight down is peculiar, and we do have something going on. We have something going on, and where this announcement's gonna fall, and why it hasn't fallen yet, is of interest to me. It was a week ago, guys. Week ago Sunday. Shavkat Rakhmonov, who has never trolled the media, he barely even does media, comes out and says, I have a fight. It is done. It is signed. I cannot reveal to you who that opponent is. The same day, hours later, Ian Gary, from a different location but through the same medium, which was Instagram, said the exact same thing. In fact, Ian Gary is even signing the contract as part of the offering to the audience. So, okay, I mean, I guess those guys are going to fight. Like, that's one heck of a coincidence. But the problem with knowing for sure that those two are going to fight and like kind of taking that as an announcement, the problem is Rakhmonov and Ian Gary, both undefeated, both highly ranked, are very leading candidates to fight the bully, Belal Muhammad, for a world championship. So if they get tied up with each other, if that's true and they are in fact tied up with each other, I think that it would be rather obvious that Kamaru Usman has gotten the title shot. And Kamaru Usman to dismiss, I'm going off circumstantial evidence here, guys. I could call him and ask, I don't want to know. I want to guess with you guys. But if we are going off of circumstantial evidence here, I think one reason that Kamaru Usman would publicly brush somebody off is because he's already got something better. And Kamaru Usman versus Belal Muhammad makes a lot of sense. In fact, I got to tell you, Ian Gary versus Shavkat Rakhmonov doesn't make as much sense. That actually does really surprise me. But as you're playing chess with matchmaking, that's where you got to really wonder just how good is Kamaru Usman. I have not seen anything with my own eyes that tell me that Kamaru is not everything that he once was. I know as a wrestler, in brackets, you're matched up with the same guy over and over and over again. You beat 5 guys that can beat that guy, but that guy, you got a problem with that guy. And that is very much what I felt with Kamaru and Leon Edwards. I didn't see anything there that made it look as though Kamaru was sliding and that's why he was losing his championship. And I just share that with you. We saw this in a little bit of a different situation with Max Holloway. The way we got Ilia Topuria to a title shot against Volk was unlike anybody else had ever gotten to a title shot against Volk. We kept him the hell away from Max. Everybody else got beat by Max, get something in between, put him in just for parity's sake. Everybody except Ilia Topuria. And I'm sharing that because you're in the same problem with Kamaru Usman. if you want to get somebody to a title shot and you're going to put him in there against Kamaru just to shine him up a little bit more, and you don't want to quite give the fight to Kamaru, are you really sure that your plan's going to work? Are you sure you got somebody that can beat Kamaru Usman? Are you sure he's not as good as he always was and he didn't just have a specific matchup issue for whatever reason? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. You don't want to give if you don't want to give Kamaru a title shot, it is not a good idea to put him in there with someone you do, even if that someone is Rakhmonov. You're better to just give it right to Kamaru. If it doesn't go his way, you don't have to hear from him again. So it's an interesting weight, but Kamaru Usman's brushing off. See, that's the kind of thing that would piss Kamaru off. It is not something where he would go, oh, get in line. I got lots of them. It's the kind of thing where he's, oh, man, you're in town. You're close enough to me. Come meet me at the gym at 3 o'clock. Like, he's much more of that guy than the, oh, this doesn't bother me. I've got so many other options guy. Unless you're already sitting on a contract. And that is a thing that we're dealing with, really, last week. Last week, we dealt with that so many different times, and I can't think of it other time in the industry. It was last week. Not only did Rakhmonov tell us I got something, but I can't tell you what it is. Not only did Gary sign something, but can't tell us what he's signing. Khabib had come out and said that Islam is locked up, tied up, even said a date. I want to say he said January of next year. He said something like this and said, but we're waiting for the organization to reveal those details to you guys. So I think it's a fun thing to guess, by the way. But I don't think that Kamaru is going to just look the other way on somebody calling him out. And I don't think there's a whole bunch of guys that have called him out. That would be very hazardous to one's health. And I'm of the mind that Kamaru and Muhammad already have an agreement. That'd be a big one if that comes around and I end up getting that one right. But there was my evidence for my guess. Things change. If something does change, though, I'll come back to you. I'll give you my new guess. But for right now, I don't believe that Kamaru really did blow off Joaquin Buckley. And I really don't believe that Buckley calling out and saying Kamaru's name didn't piss him off.